Welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Fire restrictions were put in place at the start of this week, so just before that happened we were able to fit in one more clean-up bonfire. We'd managed to accumulate quite a bit of rubbish with removing fence posts and moving things around for the shed. So it was good to be able to do a final cleanup before we were no longer able to burn off. We did have to be really careful though, because things have started to dry out quite a bit. It was a cool day and there was no wind, so we were able to be really careful about not having embers fly everywhere. We kept it quite small, and obviously we had to watch it the whole time just to make sure that it didn't catch anywhere else. And then when we were no longer going to be watching it, we put a whole stack of water on it so that it went out. The following day we did have to check on it a couple of times just to make sure that it was out completely. It was still quite hot and smouldering in some places, so we had to put a lot more water on just to make sure it was 100% out before the restrictions were in place. And since then we've had some really hot weather this week, and today is expected to get to about 42 out here, and it is a total fire ban. So we are hoping that everyone is safe and responsible and does the right thing in regard to fire safety and not doing anything that could cause any sparks or anything like that. Already yesterday we had a bit of a scare. There was a fire fairly close. We could see smoke billowing up over the horizon, and we saw the trucks go past and the helicopter arrive to bomb water on it. We do have a plan for situations of fire, which is that we would evacuate, take the pets that we can fit in the car and leave. In the situation yesterday, we got the notification on the emergency app and we were watching really closely. The wind was not blowing towards us, so we were okay at the time. We got the notification to say that it was a grass fire and that we should monitor the situation and to stay put for the time being. So the best thing to do is just to follow what the CFA tell you to do and to be prepared to evacuate if you need to. We also have some new animals on the farm this week. 1 visitor and 2 permanent residents. Our temporary visitor is Maddie. She is a dog that we're minding for some friends who are travelling to Europe for Christmas. And she seems to have settled in quite well. I thought that perhaps Wade might have been a little bit jealous and might have caused some trouble, but she came by for a little visit and everything seemed okay, and then she's been dropped off and been here for a few days now, and she seems to be settling in quite fine. Our 2 permanent pets arrived via trailer. They are Belter Galloways, and they are now enjoying their new pasture in our newly fenced paddock. They also love to stand in the dam on these hot days. They've been hand reared, so they're not afraid of people or dogs or horses or anything like that. They're still a little tentative around us because they're still getting used to us, but they'd like to be hand fed and get a pat behind the ears. I'm still really enjoying spinning at the moment, although on these super hot days it's hard to really do anything at all fibercraft related. But I have started a new braid by Colleen's Crafts. It is a Corriedale, and it's with some really super bright fun colours, which feels fairly summery to me, which is nice. I'm trying to spin a little bit thicker with this one, just because everything I've done so far has tended to be quite thin and fine. So I'm going to play around with a different thickness and see how I go. Something I can do fibre-wise while it's hot is blocking. So I have got out all of my blanket squares, and I chatted briefly last week about getting to start the blocking process for these. I have got out one of each colour and blocked them out to try and see how best the pattern blocks out. And I've worked out that at about 13 centimetres square, they all kind of work out pretty good. So with just the squares alone in one repeat, that works out to be 65 centimetres. But I haven't done the maths yet on how I'm going to lay that out and how big the blanket will end up being. That will also be determined by the edging or the border and the joining that I end up doing with it as well. So my plan for these hot days is to weave in the ends and do a whole stack of blocking of the squares, and then I should be able to start planning the finished size. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.